Yeah, if you want to grow Drosera gigantea, learn to grow asparagus sort of thing. Yeah. So, and other things like rhubarb, and the one I keep calling sauerkraut. I mean, anyway, I was thinking yesterday, only 2 packages. I was thinking, what's gone wrong, you know? And suddenly I suddenly realised, I've forgotten the bloody salient thing. The first item in the parcel. You know, it's like the welcome to Australia sort of thing. I'll tell you in a minute. I just got to. This thing wasn't quite lined up, was it? No. Here we go. That should be good enough, sort of thing. But yeah. So. I had them over here, sitting in there, being protected, and I didn't realise. Yeah, we're getting into summer weather here, sort of thing. So, what with the glasses on and the hat and everything, and just done the watering, which becomes an arduous task. So we head towards the 46-degree days. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, up there, probably forget them. Maybe take my gloves off. Had 2 gloves on yesterday because it was cold, and now it's yeah, you got the summer silky shorts on because it just gets too hot otherwise. You might want to get these are at least 5 to 10 degrees cooler. So yeah, just a hint there. Okay. Anyway, back in the 70s, this was the black. This is the black album, the ABBA's Greatest Hits. In the 1970s, when we had a population of about 14 million, this sold 7 million copies, right? Okay, and there's a few other songs which are sort of like super B-sides or something like. I've Been Waiting for You and I Am Just a Girl. You look those up on YouTube. They're quite good. They're almost a B-side sort of thing. You know, they're a little bit more polished. They could have been an A-side #1 probably. Yeah, it had a whole suite of things on there, and yeah. So yeah. It had, what was it? It had Waterloo, Ring Ring, Honey Honey, Mamma Mia, People Need, oh yeah, and Dance While the Music Still Goes On. That's quite a really good song. A Banger Boomerang, of course. That's, I don't know whether it's offensive to play that in this country. It's like it's too over the top. I don't know. Pastor Manana, and oh yeah, that was one that all the talent shows did that thing. I better just check what the time is. It's got it a reserve or something for 30 minutes on the thing, so I'll just see how it goes. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, when we had a population of around 40 million, that sold 7 million copies, and so I was always thinking, you know, is my neighbour on my left or my neighbour on my right got the other copy of my street? Anyway, in the 1980s, this came out. This was co-written by Billy Birmingham and Ostentatious. Everyone knows it as Ostentatious work though. And Billy Birmingham then went off to do work on the 12th Man, all the 12th Man series, all the way up. We got to like the Bones series. That caused a lot of controversy in this country, and it sort of yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so this in the 1980s, when the population was just over 14 million, this sold 14 million copies. So this sold twice as many, and it's like a giant single in a ways, but it's the biggest selling single, because it's like a giant single, of all time in this country so far. As far as I know, I don't think it's been outclassed. Basically, when we had a population of just over 40 million, basically almost every household has got a copy. So don't worry about the price on it. You can pick one of these up like anything. But I thought you needed a copy. So if anyone says you're not an Australian or something, yes, I am. I've got a copy. And of course, it's LIANA. You see, I don't know if you, but by the end of the thing, you can look it up on YouTube. You don't have to, if you don't have a record player, just look it up on YouTube. And yeah, Ostentatious has got such a good ear. He can actually go back with. He's like a bit like a Mozart in a way. He can dial back with his voice back to what it is like this on the record. It's live. You tell it's not cheating or anything like. It's not like he's miming or anything. You can tell. You can see in the fraction of a second or something when he starts off, he dials his voice back to what it sounds like on here. You can almost hear him doing it, sort of thing. He can actually pitch his voice back to, so like he takes, most people as they get older, their voice gets older, but he can actually dial his voice back. So in his performance, he's that good. So they're not, it's like, I suppose in a way it's like a voice artist, someone who copies, what do they call it? Taking on an accent or something. Oh, it's just gone out of my head. When someone takes on an accent, and you got that bloke in England who does the voices, yet he can't do the inner man voice, so you got this other bloke who does this inner man voice, and he beats him every time because he just can't do this other voice, this inner man voice sort of thing. And in other words, he's not really as hot as he's made out to be. He's very good, but he does the Michael Caine's, and they always compete against the two. Who does the better Michael Caine and all that sort of thing. But he can actually do that sort of thing, but take his voice back to what it used to be, so he can sound like he did 30 or 40 years before. I mean, that's really talented, to be able to do that. But he's done it so many times, of course. So anyway, I thought you can have this, and if anyone says you're not Australian, you say, of course I am. I've got a copy of Australia. But by the time I don't know. There are so many jokes on here. There are even embedded visual jokes which are mentioned on here, which you don't get until you see the video. I mean, it's that complex. And there's been jokes on here that I haven't got for like 20 years. Suddenly I'm somewhere in the shopping centre and someone will say something and bang, there's a joke that's been trapped on this thing for 20 years or so. And suddenly you think, so there's a lot in there, and also there's some on here which are visual jokes in the video which you don't get unless you watch the video as well, and vice versa. There's a lot in it, I mean, it's almost like a comedic version of I've Been Everywhere Man sort of by Ted Egan. So yes. So yeah. Anyway. So as I was saying, this is apparently it still is the biggest selling single of all time. In the movie world, that's sort of Crocodile Dundee, so I think that's the biggest movie that's ever been here. I mean, basically, this bloke, after this came out, this bloke basically, he's retired basically. Oh, he does stuff, but he's never had to work again after this came out. And we don't care if he never works again. People are here. You can watch. If you can't quote the whole thing, you can definitely start quoting great big slabs out of this thing. And if you're somewhere with someone and they mention it, you quote something else, and it's almost like it's almost like this is the secret code passport to the country in a way. If you memorize all this, it's like the secret code password for the country in a way. So you can always make a friend by quoting a line or a reference, a cross reference. It doesn't even have to be a direct reference. It can be a joke upon a joke from this thing. And you're up in far north Queensland, and you're out of the way. Yeah, you crack a joke with this something, they'll get you down the pub and they'll feed you up and for the whore. As I said, it's like the country's internal passport sort of thing, or secret code passport sort of thing. You can make a friend anywhere in the country, or over expatriate Aussie or something. Just memorize. I think that's the best thing I can do. Memorize this, and also learn to do cross jokes as well. You make your own jokes and references and everything, and make up your you know, make up your own new ones in parallel to this. So yeah, so I thought that was the first. That is supposed to be the first present in this second parcel to carry on with the Welcome to Australia thing, which was the DVD. But this is the this is your passport. Oh, hang on. That's it. Does that show? It did pretty good with the DVD thing I did, the Devil Island thing. That showed up really well. So I don't. I'm back onto. I've still got it on. Have I not got it on close up? Hang on. Yeah, I think I had it on close up before, but maybe not. Hang on. Have I not switched it back so everything was out of focus? Yeah, okay, so it was okay, now we go back to, so that should have done that all right, but now it should be back to left to right, general betrayer sort of focus. But anyway, so I forgot, as I said, I've got a terrible memory. I don't think I'm going to find that thing for this parcel, that little fly trap, you know, mosquito trap thing. But just like the other thing, I reckon as soon as the parcel goes out the door, either something will click in my hand, maybe it's the lack of pressure or something, you know, you get emotional sort of thing trying to find something, but once the stress of the emotions or the is off, you think more clearly in your brain, your memory works better, I think, and so, yeah, so it'll probably be like that. It'll be like with the book I found in the, you know, the very next day. It sounds like a good title of a song, the very next day. Well, you got the day before you came. You got what's that Platters song? It starts off at the end of the day or something, you know. Twilight time, doesn't it? Starts off the opening of Twilight. I want to take that little bit out there, that sort of sound quality of at the end of the day thing, and put it into one of my own songs, sort of thing. If I can match that sort of ethereal, sort of grand echo type chamber sort of sound you get from that at the beginning of the song, sort of thing. As it's sometimes it's hard to reproduce these things, and I don't know. It's the difference between CDs and analog, you know, analog to digital. You know, I think you always have to put crap into the digital to make it sound warmer and stuff like that. So I mean, there are differences. Like I remember Donnie telling me when he. The CDs first came out, you could throw them at a brick wall and they wouldn't break. These days, one scratch and they're gone, sort of thing. Oh yeah, I've had terrible trouble. You know, you get one scratch or a bit of dust here or something, or you know, something that's left out of the corner of you know, a box or something, or the box is slightly open on one end or something, and then you've got some air in there or something, and I don't know, it's sort of like crazed or something on one end of the thing, and you just can't play the whole bloody disc. And I'm thinking, well, what are we going to do? You know, you send do you show them a bloody copy of your disc and your receipt or something, and say, you know, I bought this 5 years ago. I want to watch it now. It's relevant now, but unfortunately, when I went to watch it, the disc is sort of self-destructed like a Mission Impossible or something. or one of them I had, it was the centre. The centre had corrupted, so the disc was perfectly normal, but or frayed or something around that central portion. It must look like there was like a bacterium or something had, you know, or some little bug or something had eaten its way from the central platter bit out a bit, and that was enough to stuff the whole disc, even though the rest of the disc was perfect, not a scratch on it. Oh, yeah. Modern technology. I mean, we've been talking about DAT tape for what was it, since the late 80s or something. Apparently they've had DAT tape in Japan or something like that for all that time, and it's just apparently it's too good. You can't actually you get around the piracy you could do with it. You see, that's the problem basically. Apparently you can't. They can't foil it. It's too good, and therefore anyone can use it to copy anything, and that's it. You got yourself a copy. But I always think you should be generous. You know, it should be like you know, once you've got your own copy, you should be able to put it up on YouTube or something or other and play it. As long as you can actually show you've got your own, you've actually gone out and paid hard cash money for your own personal copy, then you should use it as freely as you feel free. It's like the composer's rule for me. If someone else takes your song or whatever and makes it better, it's theirs basically. It's like with the Beatles, their version of Please Mr. Postman. It's just better than the original version, and it's basically, it is the version now, you know. The Beatles version of Please Mr. Postman is the Please Mr. Postman version basically. It's better than the original. And you know, if I'm the composer, you just shut up about it. You know, that's the rule. If someone else takes your work and makes it better, because that's what we're all struggling to do, is to make something better. And surely, if you're a true composer, when you hear that on the radio and you think, "Wow, what have they done with my song, Mum?" you think, "Wow, you should feel happy. Wow, they take my song and wow, I never thought I could do it that good." You should feel happy. What all these people get. It's like with the Land Down Under song, you know. They reckon they got the Kookaburra song in there, which you can tell, but no one noticed that until someone pointed it out. You know, so we went through what 20 or 30 years of this thing, not even thinking about the Kookaburra song being on there, sort of thing. And suddenly, when someone points it out, the penny drops. It's like, you know, you can't unsee it anymore, or you can't unhear it anymore. And you think, oh yeah, you're right, it is. It's mostly the Kookaburra song at the beginning. And they just hounded this person who did the flute in the band, and eventually he committed suicide. Like, you bastard! It's our, you know, almost one of our two anthems. Well, basically we've got two anthems. It's Land Down Under, and we've got Great Southern Land, and I suppose you've got the other one, Crack Over Cane, the sounds of them sort of thing. You know, Crack Over Cane Fields, or whatever. You know, the sounds of from the album Sounds of Them, or something. That's it. Those three. Oh, and also you got Run to Paradise, and what's the other one? Yeah, Run to Paradise. Unfortunately, the writer in that one got into drugs, and really good, you know. Up there with the Beatles sort of quality of guitar work and the quality of the songmanship, and then unfortunately got into drugs, and it just, I hate that. I mean, yeah, you know. It's hard to have a comeback when you're strung out. It's like when one of the Easy Beats, the singer from the Easy Beats. Yeah, I remember though they said they made some sort of comment that they caught him in the thing that he was on smack or something, and they sort of like just cut him out or something. I thought, why did you do that? Why didn't you think, okay, now we found the problem, let's work on it? You know, it was a strange comment on this documentary. Like, they called him in the thing and they found out he was on smack or something, and it's all like they sort of ended his career that way. And I thought, well, hang on, surely you're a composer, you like to make things better, you work on problems and solving problems. Surely that should have been the beginning of the journey. Okay, we found the problem, he's doing okay, we've got the money, we'll hire in the people, the specialists on the hush, to fix him up and get him better, and so I thought that would have been the beginning of his comeback journey, but no, they sort of like, I don't know, it didn't quite gel or add up to my way of thinking. When I was watching this documentary, every time I've watched it's come on in the TV in the past a couple of times. Every time I get to that point in it, I'm thinking, yeah, there's something odd about that. Sure, that's not right. You know, they should have. Yeah, they're supposed to be best mates or something. I mean, he'd given a lot to your band. I mean, every time Friday on My Mind, one of the 5 or so world international #1 songs come on the radio, surely you pat yourself on the back. Geez, he's got a good voice, and oh wow, he made that song. See, apparently that song was done in 1 take, whereas Can't Buy My Love was done in 2 takes. So. Oh, okay, well there you go. Touch the universal consciousness there. Yeah, apparently Friday on My Mind was done in 1 take. They just went to do it, and they said, that's it, done. What? Not a second go? Well, that's it, it's trapped on the can. Like that. I don't get a second go. I can make it better though. No, we think it's good enough. We're just going to send it out and see if it goes #1. You as I said, well, Can't Buy My Love though, they were over in Paris, and they apparently they ducked in into some recording studio there and did Can't Buy My Love. So they're all in the hassle of Beatlemania over there in France, and they duck into this French recording studio and they do 2 takes and come up with Can't Buy My Love. And if you want to play games, get the Beatles #1, you know, the red thing, because listen to it, because it's so funny, because when you listen to Can't Buy My Love, they don't actually say Can't